We could talk about David Fizdale, and we will, but isn't the heart of the matter the fact that you can't fire the owner?
You know, the owner has been here through much of the disasters of the last 20 years, but I will say this. By and large, since Phil Jackson came on as team president, Jim Dolan has essentially let the top executive for the Knicks make basketball decisions. He's gotten involved here and there, as you would expect any owner would, but he's been mostly hands-off. So for the Knicks fan out there that still wants to blame everything on Jim Dolan, I think you have to look at the executives in these situations because they've had the freedom to make the decisions that they've wanted.
Executives he chose.
Correct. Executives he chose, particularly when you talk about Steve Mills, because if you go back to after the Knicks fired Phil Jackson, the caveat for all the people that they were talking to potentially come in as general manager was you have to work under Steve Mills, and that was a condition that several of their top candidates, including David Griffin, weren't interested in. So that was a reason why you end up with the Mills-Perry pairing, and, you know, here we are, sitting at 2-8 after a summer where there was so much expectation for this group. You mentioned it. They thought they had a good shot at getting Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They come up empty, and now you're here and you have 4 20-point losses for the Knicks in the first 10 games, and we're talking about potentially firing the coach, and I think the front office isn't safe, and it's just a mess again here in New York.
So what is the next step here? I mean, we're hearing reports that the foundation has been laid for the dismissal of David Fizdale. Is that what you're hearing now at this moment?
There's no doubt. I mean, reading between the lines of that press conference on Sunday night, whenever the top executives of the basketball team come out to address the media after a 20-point loss, that's never a good thing. And sure, the message from them was, hey, we're all in this together. We're all accountable for what's gone wrong here. But when they talk about the lack of consistent play and the idea that in the short-term future they need to see improvement, David Fizdale is certainly in the crosshairs. But that doesn't absolve Mills and Perry from blame. And I'm told from MSG people that the idea that Mills and Perry won't be held accountable for what goes wrong here is inaccurate. A lot of people think that if the Knicks continue to be non-competitive throughout this season, Mills and Perry will be out after the year, and the Knicks will be searching for their next top guy after sometime in April.
And some names have already been floated, who knows by whom, but they're out there in the rumor mill, including an executive who had a pretty good spring up in Toronto. What are you hearing on that front?
Well, any team with an executive opening would be coveting Masai Ujiri. I mean, there's no doubt. It's obvious. But with the Knicks, it's a little bit different because there was strong interest in Masai in 2017, and clearly the Mills dynamic didn't work for Masai, so nothing came to fruition. But Jim Dolan, you know, he's been on the wrong end of a couple of Masai Ujiri trades. The first one was the Carmelo Anthony deal when Masai was in Denver. And then you look at the Andrea Bargnani trade with Toronto when Masai was running the Raptors. So Jim has an inherent respect for Masai, and I think he's going to be at the top of the list if the Knicks and Dolan do decide to make changes at the executive level after this season.
Kind of bigger picture, Ian, we're talking about a franchise where if there's an operative word, it seems, over the last several years anyway, it's hopelessness. I mean, how do you fix that? How do you fix that culture? Is it as simple as hiring a better executive? I mean, the quick fix always looks like it's right around the corner, but it never seems to happen.
You know, the interesting thing, if you look at this past 20 years, yes, there's been so much off-the-court drama, so much of a circus-like atmosphere around here, but the Knicks also haven't done a good job of developing their young players, developing the young talent, and now you have R.J. Barrett, and he's looked pretty good through the first 10 games. And if you can develop a player like RJ and he becomes the face of your franchise, then you can attract free agents. I think that's the best way forward for the Knicks, developing a young core and then bringing in the star that they've long coveted.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.